One, and we're live. Hey, Mr. V, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Doing well as well. Thanks for asking. Any fun plans for the weekend?
Uh, just getting the home organized. Lots of catch-up work. Anything that we couldn't get done during the weekdays, they're usually busy. So, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty low-key weekend.
Okay, I feel that. Yeah, I have to do some organizing and cleaning up of the house as well. Other than that, I'll just be hanging out too. Um, I know that you just recently had an interview with Will Goes Meta. Um, So I'm gonna try my best to not repeat multiple questions that he asked you and try to make it a completely different interview. Um, but I think that you did a really good job for your first appearance on showing everybody who you are and what you collect. So that was a really great interview. Um, were you pretty nervous to get on screen for the first time?
So when it comes to like public speaking, I'm used to speaking in front of like 30 plus people at a time, because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
But when it like seeing myself on screen, it's a little different. But yeah, yeah, I think it was a different kind of feel. So yeah, I'd say I was a little nervous.
Well, we appreciate you still working through those nerves and coming out to talk with us because you have lots of knowledge I feel like is important to share with the community. And it's always just good to see all people's perspectives and outlooks on things, especially with this VV market. You never know. Um, and so, with that being said, I would love to ask, why did you choose the career of being a teacher and what do you teach?
Sure. So my certification licensure is in ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages. So I work with the international kids. My family's from another country in South America, Colombia. Um, but I'm first generation here. I was born and raised in the U.S. and I was starting grad school. I was working on a second. I was working on um, getting a master's in English, and my professor was from Lebanon, and he asked us to write a paper explaining what our reasons were for teaching, and I shared a lot of like personal background information in the essay, and he pulled me off to the side for like 5 minutes, and he said, "Look, I think you'd be an excellent candidate for becoming an ESOL teacher because." And this is him directing it to me because you have a different a unique perspective from your home life versus your professional life, and similarities that the students that I would have with the students that I'd be working with, um, and so the cultural facets of my personal life at home growing up would resonate really well with the kids who are just moving to this country.
Yeah.
And so, um, up until that point in my life, I was pretty like not sheltered, but like I had no idea ESOL was a thing because I had
Yeah.
gone to private schools my entire life, and that it seemed really interesting, and it turned out I loved it, and so my focus shifted from teaching or getting a master's in secondary English to um, really focusing on linguistics and like
Okay.
science of the language and breaking it down for how I would be able to explain the language to kids. So that's part of the answer to your two-part question. So that's why I chose ESOL, because it made sense and it was exciting and it was refreshing for me.
Yeah.
And then the other part, why did I choose to teach? Um, Growing up, my parents really made it a priority to spend time with me, and uh, that was a blessing. Um, they did it as much as they could. Like my father would work three jobs at a time. My mother would have like one or two jobs, and so, but I would always see them. They would always like come to my games and performances and things like that. So uh, being there for family or for kids was a really big thing, and I had a really good example. from my own parents, and I knew that I always knew that I wanted to be a father, have my own family, and that was a personal goal. That was like a really big deal for me. So as I was like finishing up college, I just knew that whatever I do decide to pursue, I need to make time for my family, and I don't want to be putting money ahead of things that cannot be replaced. Like time is super valuable. I think that um, the you could always buy things for people, like a gift for them on their birthday, but they're going to end up throwing that away because they might outgrow it, or or might wear there might be wear and tear on those particular gifts. But memories, they stick with you forever, and I just wanted to make sure I made the time for my family, that they would have plenty of memories with me. So that
Yeah.
was a really big priority for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're super passionate about like your family and like having family time. That's really cool. So then do you still get like summer breaks and like so you get like that time with your family then and everything like that?
Yeah, exactly. So I probably work just under 200 days a year. So I really feel like I'm working half of the year. Although it is exhausting, it's super exhausting. Like they in this profession, it's you're you've got to be on your A game, ready. Like if you're tired or if you're having a bad day, doesn't matter. You have to be ready for addressing 20 to 30 kids needs at all times. So um but yeah, I love the vacation time. It's great, and also gives me time to explore other areas of interest, and BB just so happens to be one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what grade do you teach?
I'm a middle school teacher.
Middle
uh,
school.
yep.
So do you speak Spanish? Is it Spanish that is from?
So my first language is English. My Spanish is pretty good.
Okay.
Um, I can get my point across. I could talk about pretty much any topic, but I'm just like really slow,
Yeah.
or much slower than what people are used to. Much slower than
Used to listening to.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in like a dominant Hispanic school, so I just kind of picked up like here and there like words or like certain phrases, so I'll kind of like pick up what they're saying. But if you want me to like actually talk to you in Spanish, I'm like, don't make me do that. So that's super cool. I love that you get to like connect with kids and kind of help them, and that you already kind of came from like a background with that too, so they could also like relate to you. And I always know that it was easier for me to like I guess get closer to my teachers when I know that we had similar experiences and like I could actually like have a one-on-one with them and really feel like they actually can understand where I'm coming from. So
yeah.
that's super cool that you have that impact for them. Um, and then you already have a son. How old is your son?
He's 3 right now. Yeah,
3. Wow, I'm sure he's a handful now, huh? Do
yeah.
you miss him when he was little?
He's awesome. I because of because of the pandemic, I was teaching from home. So like I managed to have like a lot of one-on-one time with him while he was developing, and from the moment he was like he had tummy time. So like I think what childcare providers call it, when he's like trying to lift his head up to the moment that he started crawling and then walking. So I was around for all of that. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I know a lot of people, especially like the men, will like have to work double time while the wife is like healing and recuperating and like gets to experience all that while the poor husband has to like work and miss all his like first steps and first words and stuff. So that's really cool that you're at least being able to experience all of that. And then now, word on the street is you guys have another bun in the oven.
Yeah, yep, yep. We're expecting in just a few months, probably like right before Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a matching set, just like right. It'll be a girl.
Nice.
Yeah, yep.
I
I'm
love it. Have you guys thought of a name for her yet? I feel like names are the hardest thing.
yeah. So my wife's first name is Maria. So we'll go with that as the first name, and I like the name Victoria. So
Okay,
she'll be Maria Victoria.
nice. Maria Victoria. Because she's going to be victorious in everything she does, and she has such a cool dad and mom to stand behind her.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely pumped. Definitely,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's super exciting. I'm glad that you're excited for a girl because I feel like if I were to get pregnant right now, if I knew it was going to be a boy, I wouldn't be like as panicked. But if I was having a girl, I'd be freaking out.
Oh, like believe me, like I've had a lot of uh, people try and I don't know, redirect my attention to the present, to the moment. But just because, like, of course, I'm absolutely going to be um, like like hovering over her and be super protective. But but people are, you have a ways to go. I have at least until she's like a preteen before I have to worry about boys like like hovering around her and stuff like that. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm going to try and just focus on what's going on, like
Yeah.
in the moment. But yeah,
You
yeah.
just have to be that stern, scary dad that, like, the guys are going to be super nervous to meet. They're like, oh no, I have to meet her father.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
but that's cool. That's exciting. And then your son's probably super thrilled too. And I think that it's cool that you're gonna have both boy and girl. Do you guys plan on having any more after that? Or now that you got one and one, your guys are probably gonna be done?
We were kind of trying to see what we felt would be appropriate for our family dynamic because
Mhm.
personally, I would be happy to have as many as I'd be blessed with. Uh, but understandably so, my wife would be like really burned out and tired. But um, but she did present this like situation where if we needed to split our time between after school activities, we there would be one parent per kid. So that
Mhm.
made a lot of sense to me. But she also said that if we could afford the help around the house to have more, then she'd probably be open to having more. So maybe
Yeah.
not. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I'm sure. Affordability is definitely like the thing for us too. I'm open to having kids, but not anytime soon because the financial state, I'm like, oh, that would be too stressful to be trying to do at this moment. But I'm so excited. That's so cool for you guys and your little family. Austin wants to know, is your son excited to be a big brother or is he jealous that he's not going to be an only child?
Right now, he's super excited. He gives my wife a kiss on the belly every day when he wakes up and right before he goes to sleep. But I think it's going to be different, very very different when the attention from his parents are going to be split with the baby girl. So
Oh yeah.
for now, he's excited, but I'm certain he'll be jealous.
Right. Hopefully she's not like a heavy crier because I know my cousin had three children and her first was a boy and he was about 2 or 3 when she got had her second baby, which was a girl. And he was super excited even like when she was first born, he was really happy. But then he started getting so mad because she would cry at night and like wake him up. So he's like, she just cries. was like so mad about Kids are so funny. They have like such personalities, such characters. But
Yeah, then there's no filter, especially like,
yeah,
or they work on that filter as they get older, right?
right. I mean, some do. I know people that are super blunt, and I'm like, dang. I don't know if this was the time, but sure. Well, let's go with it. So when did you start your Veve venture and why Veve?
During the pandemic, so I guess like maybe late or mid 2019, I think it's when it started.
Yes.
Um, yeah, like right around there. When the pandemic started, there was a lot of time away from work, like while the schools were trying to figure out how to adapt to the situation. So I had always wanted to work on a doctorate, um, and I thought, you know what, I don't know how long this is going to happen, and I was really like, after finishing my master's, I realized how much I could accomplish um, in the evenings after work if I just slept less. And so, like, I was just like on overdrive ever since like 2017, just working, 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 working. Even though I'm
Mhm.
a teacher, like, I had all this time to explore other areas, which I was doing. So while I was, um, while the school systems were trying to figure out how to transition back into everything, I decided to enroll for a doctoral program. I got in and I started taking classes, and so I was doing like all this crazy amount of research, like looking at 15 to 18 different peer-reviewed articles per paper every 2 weeks, and so I was just like in research mode. At that same time, I was kind of dipping my toes into crypto, and I was listening to this one guy's show. It's called "Cryptos Are Us" with this guy
Okay.
named George. I know that it's like maybe not the best source of source for information for the crypto space, but I did like his demeanor, how he carried himself, and kept it positive and things in perspective. So that uh, resonated well with me. Anyhow, towards the end
Mhm.
of his segments, he would have time for questions and answers, and somebody had brought up the Omi token, and I was just listening while doing some other errands around the house, and he brought up how the Omi token was connected to Vivi, and he had mentioned that IP. And I had no idea what IP was. And then he explained it was intellectual property. And he started running off all these big IPs, uh,
Yeah.
Disney being the big one. And I was like,
Mhm.
this sounds interesting. So I took a look into it, and I downloaded the app months later, though. So like I remember him talking about it, and I was like, there's NFTs, and I don't know anything about them, so I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I was like maybe a third of the way into my doctorate, and I took a look into it again, and I saw that they had like Ghostbusters on the app and like all these other
Mhm.
interesting things, like Spider-Man had just come out, and so I downloaded the app, and as soon as I downloaded it, I downloaded the or I purchased on the secondary market a ghost trap,
Okay.
and I I saw it like open up and all these special effects turn up on the screen. I was like, this is pretty cool, and so that's that hooked me because I was a big Ghostbusters fan when I was growing up, and
Cool.
unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it. Um, that ultimately took up a lot more of my time because I wanted to figure out how does this work, how does this play in the grander scheme of things, and I was thinking about opportunity cost as well.
Yeah.
Although I was working on a doctorate, that wasn't going to necessarily make or break my career or give me a significant pay bump. I was just thinking long term because maybe I could be a university professor and pay for my and by being a professor, my children could go to college for free if I was hired full time. That's how I operate. I think way 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 ahead.
Long term.
Like I don't think about what I struggle through in the short term. I just know that like I know what the sensation is of being rewarded for years of work that is very, very, very focused and directed towards one thing. So as soon as that, I was in this at this crossroads. Do I continue my doctorate program, which takes up most of my time, or do I continue to explore the space that is Veve to just make the best of it of an opportunity that looks very promising. because I remember during the run with the bull run with crypto,
Hmm.
I I panicked and I sold two different types of crypto, and those would have really set up my family had I not sold. And I was thinking to myself, do I really want to put myself out of the race? So I really wanted to go all into something that I believed in and that made sense. And with the IP and the decades of um, affinity for the brands like Marvel, DC, that there's already a whole bunch of there's a massive audience for each of those things, and very few had entered that space. And I thought, this is it. This is going to be enjoyable because I actually like those things, those IPs, and um, it didn't feel as strenuous as working on a doctorate too. Um, so
Yeah.
it was. So I hit pause on it on the doctoral program, and I switched to Veve, and I decided to. And interestingly enough, I think those same study habits, research skills that I had with um, with my schoolwork, I just transferred that over into the amount of effort and energy I had with Veve and exploring what they were doing, learning more about whatever they were coming up with.
Yeah. It seems like you really hopped in and kind of just like took reins of it. I definitely thought you were like an OG, like you probably started in like, early February or March, like with all the other VVOGs and just because of like your amazing collection and all of the consecutive mints that you hold. Being like on the outside, it seems like you would be like a big whale, like an OG to the community. But I heard you tell Will on his during your guys' interview that you don't think yourself or you don't see yourself as a whale because you're a teacher and you're not have like endless funds like some most whales do. um, People try to say that Austin and I are whales now too because we have like a nice amount of consecutives. So I think people see, that you have a really nice account and then they automatically assume that you are made of money, which isn't really the case.
Yeah, not even close. I wish. I wish. Um, but but yeah, I started in September of 2021, and um, definitely don't have the resources like most people do. Nor did I stack the collectibles that many wiser people did. When I did start, I knew that I wanted to collect what I liked, uh, if I could help it.
Hmm.
But like I did collect like sub 150s too, and I had a whole bunch of sub 100s. But that those quickly, like they came and left and went really quick. I knew I couldn't hold on to those because I didn't like the mints, and
Yeah.
and you know before you knew it before I knew it, I had a whole bunch of the same mint.
Nice. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Is the one that you like the most or have the most of?
Yeah, that's the one I have the most of, and then the second one is 1313 for Disney
Yeah.
collectibles, and then um, if I get priced out of a lot of the other like so between Marvel or DC or um, Disney or whatever it is, if
Hmm.
I get priced out, then I kind of just switch over to the next best thing that I could find. It might be 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, repeating numbers, maybe a palindrome here or there. Um, but yeah, mostly 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1313.
1313. Yeah, and that was you definitely educated me on the 1313 because I'm a huge Disney nerd and I had no idea of like the 13 being a significant thing for Disney. So after watching your initial interview and you guys kind of went into like that being Disney's address and everything, like that's super crazy that one that you looked into it and kind of like caught on to that. And it's cool that you're sharing that with me because I've always liked the number 3. So when I seen like it was like the 33 club and like Walt was like 333 off drop or whatever, or like, to buy him. I was like, threes obviously matter a lot, but it's cool to know that 13 is super significant, and it's another thing to like look out for in the market now. So if you don't get it first.
Yeah. So something that I kind of like, I did mention in the interview, but I kind of left out as well. The whole thing with like looking at the 13 sideways, it looks like, and that looking like an M. The reason why, like when you have 1313 sideways, there's two M's, right? That would be for Mickey Mouse. And there's that saying, it all started with a mouse, or it
Hmm.
also something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the genesis of Disney, right? The company.
Hmm.
So there was that. And then also I was thinking about like the whole thing about why 33 was bigger or has been bigger with Disney, and why it's more well known. And I was thinking back, and I was looking into the one of the Disneyland posters with, I forget what it was called, but like one of the 5 Disneyland secret rare posters.
Yeah.
And in one of the descriptions, it was talking about how Club 33 was the name of the club well after it was established, and it was just like some kind of like the Disney club or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And like my background is in language and how it evolves over time too. And I was thinking, all right, what's easier to say, Club 33 or Club 1313? And Club 33 rolls off the tongue more. And
Hmm.
also, if you look at the 3 sideways, it also looks like M for Mickey Mouse. So I think it was more just like what rolls off the tongue better, 1313 or 33, because I'm pretty sure. And I can't remember the year that Walt died, but I think the club was renamed, or renamed to Club 33 after he had passed away. So I'm curious what the club would have been called after he had passed. Would he have let it stay Club 33, or would he had named it Club 1313 because that was his favorite number?
Favorite
So
number.
so
Hmm.
that,
Interesting.
you know, just something that I've been thinking on way
Yeah.
too much. Like
Way too
I
much.
yeah, yeah. These are the things that keep me up at night.
You're just seeing 13s fly around you. That's so funny. Yeah, I know that they have like this red door or something that has like the number 33, and people say that that's where you go to like be in like the secret 33 club hangout or whatever. So who knows? Do you own Walt?
I do not. I'm not as lucky
Yeah.
as most of the people on the app. I really wanted to get it, but that when Walt came out, when it dropped, I was still in that like phase where I was like struggling to get liquid, or
Hmm.
struggling to have liquidity, because I really did put everything I had into the app in gems in September, and
Yeah.
I didn't buy gems again for months. For months, I just was tapped. I tapped myself out. So
Were you lucky enough to buy your gems off app and like get a discount from somebody, or did you just buy them directly from the store or whatever?
they were
VV.
direct. They were directly from the store, and I
Okay.
was like, after I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or like maybe a month or two, I got invited into some Telegram group, and they started talking about it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I was so salty. I was
I bet.
so salty, because
I bet.
my collection would be totally different. Like I would have just stacks of like just everything.
Yeah.
Ugh,
But
yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. Now we're in a huge dip, and you'll be able to pick up some stuff that you weren't able to when you first joined because everything was at like an all-time high. So
Yeah.
gotta
That's
look at the positives.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know where I stand. I know that my collection will allow, like, so even though I don't have a lot in terms of quantity, I think the quality of my collection will allow me to, for lack of better words, compete with
Mhm.
whales as they buy up the supplies or really nice mints, things like that. So, um,
Sure.
just
Well,
like
and like what Austin and I were thinking too is that, um, like you said, having, I think you mentioned it in Will's interview, that if you have one sports car, that's cool. It's like nice, whatever. And then once you start having a bunch of them in your garage, then it's like, whoa, I gotta go check out this guy's garage. Like, what does he have in there? And it comes a little more intriguing, like once people want to like go check it out, you know? Um, so I mean, you could at the end of the day, years down the road when you're like done and you just want to like cash out and like spend your money, it could be as easy as I'm gonna sell my account. Every single thing I have in here is a 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could probably sell your entire account for like so much money. You won't even have to worry about trying to sell one by one, you know, or anything like that. You'll just sell somebody your entire account, like, okay, here you go. And you already be like cashed out. So that's kind of a cool way to look at it too, if you were ever open to that in the
yeah,
future.
like I don't know if I have the heart to sell my collectibles, the nice mints. So like if I have multiple nice mints of one particular collectible, then I don't think twice about it about like selling the extras. Um, but I'd much rather leave it up to my kids to decide what to do with the collectibles,
Okay.
just because like I like keeping things low key. Like I'm very content with like having very few material possessions. Like for me, like the less things I have to manage, the happier I am, and also I can disperse my time doing other things. That's just me, and like I know I've had really good swings with financially before teaching, um, to know that that I won't have a midlife crisis and then suddenly sell my whole collection to buy sports cars
Yeah.
or a mansion or whatever it can afford me in the future.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of like I'm happy. I'm content. I have my time and money's money comes and goes, but time is irreplaceable. So I think I'd much rather leave it up to my kids when I'm gone.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about like hiring a lawyer to make sure that my kids don't spend it on like I don't know partying or whatever. Like if they
Yeah.
did sell the collectibles, when I give them.
For sure.
So I might have to set up some safeguards.
Right.
Who know?
But
I'm just
that's super
out loud.
cool. I was gonna ask you, when everything booms and we're on the moon and you can cash out and, you know, go enjoy your money, what did you plan on doing? But now I know that you just are more so doing this to just set up your kids and their future. So that's really cool, though.
Yeah, and it's
You're the first to tell me that. So I love to hear that. That's really cool.
yeah. Even if I did have a bunch of money to spend, like it's gonna deplete at some point. I really don't know what to do with money if I had it. I'm content. You know, I have a
That's
lot.
cool.
I have health, and well, I messed up my
Oh,
hand. Like
what did you do?
um uh in brief, I cut my hand with a bunch of glass, and I had cut through tendon and nerve, and I had surgery like 2 weeks ago. Fortunately, this is not the hand I go for drops with or sniping on the market or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like other than this, yeah, I did have surgery, and then I have like about 3 months of therapy, and then up to a year before I can start feeling things in my fingers again.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do they have you on any like electrotherapy, you know, so like you could get like the movement like back faster or anything like that?
no, I'm just with an occupational therapist, and they're
Okay.
having me do some simple procedures to uh, exercises to gradually regain strength in it, and,
Yeah.
and also um, stimulate the hand so that it can start feeling again.
Mhm.
Certain areas, some parts I can feel, some parts I can't.
Ooh, I'm the kind of person that like I don't like get all nauseous when I see blood or anything. Like I kind of want to watch like what was that? Scarred or whatever was the TV show where you just like watch skaters like just beat themselves up and break bones and like hurt themselves and
Oh,
stuff. So I know. I kind of just like to like not it's not like I enjoy seeing their pain or anything, but I just kind of it's crazy to see, you know, just like how it looks. It's like, oh, that's so crazy. I bet your hand looked so crazy. Were you like when it happened, were you scared? Were you like, I need to go to the hospital? Like or was it not that big of a deal? You're like, oh, it's a cut, and then it actually ended up being way worse than you thought.
oh, it was bad. The It was like 7:30 in the morning. I was alone with my kid. He was eating breakfast, and uh, some glass broke in my hands, and like I screamed for a second, and then my kid looked over at me, and then he went back to eating his breakfast calmly, and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I ran over to my phone. Like I cut both of my hands open, and
Oh,
I dialed for some help. I finally got help. Arrived like half an hour later. Went to the hospital. Went to the ER room, ER, and they stitched me up, but it was really bad. And they said I need to see a a hand surgeon as soon as possible. And then like 2 weeks go by. I thought, it was just stitches, like nothing serious. And then I was told, I got another phone call, and I was told to go see the hand surgeon and scheduled the appointment. And they said that I had, after doing like some simple tests, they said that I cut through tendon and nerve, and that removing the stitches was not enough. It wasn't just an external thing, it was an internal thing. And so they booked me. But fortunately, I did have a surgeon who worked on professional athletes. So I was like really relieved that I was in really good hands.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the short of it. My
Yeah.
my wife, like my wife knows that I really like the Doctor Strange movies, and and then she
That's
started
literally what
calling
I was just thinking of. That's so funny.
yeah, she started calling me Doctor Strange. As soon as she saw like the stitches running down my hand, because they had cut from my pinky all the way down into
Oh,
my palm, to be able to reach the nerves. And
yeah.
I'll spare you the rest of the details, but it was a success. I signed off on like three experimental um,
Surgeries.
like there's three possible things that they would have had to do that were like really just not common, and
Yeah.
I signed off on it right before I got knocked out. And the surgeon told me it was the best case scenario, so I didn't have to go through any of those three things. So I was really really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, dang. Hopefully you heal fast. Do they have a time frame of when they think that you'll be at least not in that hand brace or whatever?
They said probably like 3 months before I can remove this, uh,
Dang.
and then there was no specific timeline, but they said normally it could be up to a year before I could get the feeling back in my hands, in my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm optimistic. Like the surgery was better than they had went better than they had expected, and
Okay.
so I'm more. I guess you could say I'm already ahead of schedule in that respect. So
That's
just
good.
just keeping a positive perspective, and
Yeah.
with my kid, my second on the way, I'm extra motivated to be able to hold them, and you know,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, as far as feeling goes, if so like a little bit about my background, I guess. I work for a medical company and I just do like all their billing and stuff, so I just do a lot of math. But it's like kind of like a TENS unit, so I don't know if you've heard of that, but like it's electrotherapy, so you just stick like the pads on wherever it's hurting and it like shoots electro waves through, and it's supposed to help you like get feeling and like gain muscle strength faster than just like regularly treating or trying to do like hand exercises. So I don't know, you might want to ask your doctor like if that's a route that he thinks would help you heal faster so that you can hold your baby girl and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought that maybe that could help you because that would be cool. And I don't want you to feel like devastated because you can't like hold your girl like when you want. So
Yeah, I'll run that by them. I know that they do have everything very carefully laid out, like week by week. Um,
Mhm.
but I'll have to ask and see if that's part of the
If
program.
it's part of it, yeah. I
Yes.
just know that it is effective, not for everything, but maybe for something like that, it would be just make it so it's faster healing for you, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yep.
hope you heal fast, and I want you to get better soon.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Dang, and then that's even scary because like, you have accidents like that, and it's, like, you, so, of course, you're gonna heal and stuff, but then you have 2 kids to worry about, and they can get hurt like that. Jeez, being a parent's so stressful.
It's
Sorry.
yeah.
Off tangent. Um, okay, well, other than that, I did want to know also about why or what makes you so excited for what we have in the future. I know that we have a lot of people talking about renting collectibles and like the whole MCP coming out. Do you feel like you're ready for MCP? Are you excited for it?
Oddly enough, maybe oddly enough, I'm not sure. I don't think I would really be up there to compete or keep up with the people who do have like massive collections, like between the comics and the full sets. I think I have like maybe 23 sets total,
Okay.
and I've got like 4 or 5 comics. Um, so I don't think I knew I wouldn't be able to compete with the people who already stacked all these things. So I just decided like that was part of my plan as I was
Mhm.
getting settled in. Um, that I wouldn't think about it as much, wouldn't think about the Master Collector program as much, just because whatever those benefits, perks, rewards that would become available to the people who did have a lot, I didn't think that would apply to me as much. So I just figured, I'm gonna what's the acronym? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Like
Oh yeah.
so I was like telling myself that like don't worry about that. That's for everyone else to think about and like enjoy. You just figure out whatever you can in
Yeah.
the meantime. So yeah, that's I counted myself out. So I haven't really put much thought into that. And then
Into the collecting.
with
Well, I know that you mentioned that you were like worried, like kind of like you were focusing on getting your sets up when you first joined. Did you have more than 23 when you initially were buying everything? Or,
that's a good question. I don't remember.
okay.
I have no clue. Like I know I know I had a lot. Like I was doing like a bunch of the black and white DC
Okay.
collectibles,
Yeah.
um, but I've sold like pretty much all of those. Unfortunately, I do regret that.
Yeah.
But again, like I didn't have any good mints of those, so um,
Don't go selling your Spider-Man because of the mint. Crazy.
I have I'm looking forward to the metadata being available so that I can start reaching out to people who have more mints that I am interested in, because
Yeah.
that for me, like I know that people will the profiles to like showcase whatever you do have, right? And I'm super
Yeah.
picky. I'm picky off app as well. Like so, I'm, I'm at least consistent with
Yeah.
who I am both on and off app. But I yeah, that I'm really excited for. So you were asking, so bringing this
Sorry,
back,
I know. I'm sorry.
of course. So yeah, I the metadata I am excited for obvious reasons, for personal reasons.
Yes.
Um, Master Collector program, not so. I don't really have much of an interest in that. And then what was the other? Was there anything else that you listed?
Um,
Oh, the metaverse.
yeah.
Yeah, the Veve verse or
The
whatever
VB verse.
it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, at first I was pretty excited. I was like, that looks cool, that's interesting, but at the same time, like I I don't even have time to play video games at home. Like the last time I played video games, I think it was like 2010, 2011,
Mhm.
and I just kind of found other things to keep me busy. So I'm curious now that I have this collection. Maybe this is my opportunity to sneak in some like gaming or
Yeah.
interaction or interacting with other people online. But I think for a little while, at least a couple of years, my kids will kind of keep me busy. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but I think by the time that they're older, I'll have some free time on my hands. Maybe, who knows?
Well, and they'll probably want to play video games too. I'm sure, like, as we kind of like go through the future, this is like what I believe will really be the future of gaming anyway. So you'll probably be able to enjoy like the metaverse with them as they get into like video games if that's what they're interested in, and that'll be cool to like have them involved with your VBverse or metaverse.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So
Yeah.
now I have something to persuade my wife into saying, "Hey, I'm busy with the kids. I'm keeping them busy."
Yeah. Hey, and like if you're planning to hand them down to them as an asset or, they might as well kind of already get their hands dirty and like play and understand what they're actually like kind of working with too.
That's
So
good.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. Um, but so um why did you not run away when everything started dipping, you know? Like why are you so bullish on VB? And like why did you still decide to stay here and invest in this project?
Uh, in the interview that I had with Will, I did briefly mention that after my undergrad, uh, I, I gambled, but I didn't specify like how or what. I played poker for a while, for a couple years actually, and the swings that I had were pretty gnarly. um, the and so like my respect for money was not really there because there's this concept of a pain threshold, where if you experience a certain amount of pain or something that makes you feel any kind of discomfort, the
Hmm.
the following time that you feel that level or experience that kind of discomfort, your tolerance will be a little bit higher. So, for example, if I lost $500
Yeah.
in one session playing cards, the next time I lose 500, I'm like, I can keep going. So then I'd end up losing like 700 or 800, and then I start to feel that same amount of discomfort or like you know um, that time. And then the next time I lose 7 or 800, it's not so bad. Then it goes down like up to 1,000 and so on
Yeah.
and so forth, right?
You're like been there, done that, and then the next time you're like, "Oh, this kind of hurts." And then the second time you're like, "Oh, been there, done that." And it's just like a never-ending loop.
Yeah, and then like so of course like what kept me going was that my winning sessions were fantastic and like kept me going for a long time and afforded me things I never dreamed I would have been able to experience
Hmm.
at that age, right? So like this, but the swings were still there, right? Because of variance. I got to understand the concept of variance at a relatively young age. Um, so with that, I was very I was just experienced in terms of losses and gains. And
Hmm.
then years later, as Veve popped up and I experienced the gains, I was excited, but I also had things in perspective like there's more to come. Like variance will play a factor in this market as it does in every other market. So I knew what I was getting into as soon
For
as I
sure.
started. And then when things started dipping really hard, I was just like, okay, I've experienced this before in other ways,
Yeah.
both in short and long, both in the short and long term. So that oddly enough, that experience when I was very young with variance and money coming and going. Um, you know, who knew years later would help me have stronger hands at play.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what um, I think helped me a lot.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I know my buddy Kobe Collects is always telling everybody, it's all about your risk tolerance. I mean, if you're willing to put $40 into this and you don't care if you lose, then cool. Like, let's have fun and like play this game. But if you're gonna be the person that's mad and taking it out on other people because you lost on that $40, you probably just shouldn't partake because like who needs that stress and like, nobody wants to go through that. So yeah, you definitely need to know your own pain or not your own pain tolerance, your own risk tolerance.
Yeah,
Um, and that's cool that you kind of like already gained some through your poker experience and you know that it takes money to make money. So
it's true.
that's that's the key. And you're long term, you view things long term, so that also helps you too. You're not living in the moment and freaking out about what you see now because I mean, I'm assuming you obviously hope and think that things will turn around and we'll be in another bull run before we know it. So,
Yeah, I think it's all a calculated risk. Like I'm not going to blindly like that's um, lured me into Veve to begin with the IP. Um,
mhm.
if I'm gonna take a risk, a calculated risk, I'd much rather have it in a company or in companies that are just bigger than. I mean, Disney eclipses every other.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a monopoly. I mean, they pretty much own the world.
yeah,
They
so
should.
yeah, it's like the Bitcoin of the crypto
Mhm.
market, right? So
Definitely. Yeah. I know. That's what drew me into. I started late November, right after all the golden moments dropped, and Austin was going through Instagram and seeing like a reel of Elsa, like somebody just making a cool like little recording of her. And he was like, "Look, babe," and he knows that I'm like just huge in Disney, and I was like, "That's so cool. What is it?" Just thinking it's like a physical statue, I could add to like my Funko Pops and stuff like that. So we looked into it and then realized it was NFTs, and I was like, I don't know anything about NFTs. I thought that like they were kind of a joke, I just didn't know anything about it. So we did have to do a lot of research. But yeah, after you look into it, it's like a no-brainer to be here doing what we're doing. So yeah, it makes me excited, and then I just love to hear and see, like, all the different ways that Vivi's trying to keep it interesting for us, like, whether it be, like, the one-of-ones or MCP, so we can, like, kind of, like, make a game of collecting. It's really cool that they're thinking, like, outside the box and just implementing lots of different stuff, so even the people that were here a year ago are still just as interested as the new people that are gonna join tomorrow. So that's really cool.
yeah, we have a
In my
lot
opinion.
more to look forward to. I mean, I don't think like no company would roll out brand new products or ideas that are groundbreaking when people aren't fl- um, rushing to that particular market, right?
Yeah.
You want to save your best ideas for when it's hot. Um,
Mhm.
that's like phone companies. Like when things slow down, that's when they start. I mean, of course, they'll trickle in a couple of things to keep the market going for themselves
Mhm.
or their um, revenue streams going just enough, right? So like there's a pulse, but you
Yeah.
you drop the best stuff when it's hot, like the holidays, like during the winter holidays, and that's why like I'm really curious to see what we have in store, like around December. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so like it's you know again like I like to look forward to the future and the future is right around the corner, right?
Right. Yep. Take it day by day on the market and just look forward to the future of what is all to come for sure. Um, what is your favorite collectible on Vivi? I don't think that Will asked you that, and I'm curious of what's your favorite one. Not that you only own, like just on the entire app, like what's your favorite?
Um, oof, that's a good one. Uh, I
You can name like top three if that's easier.
let me let me take a quick look, and I'll try and talk while I'm browsing through this.
Okay.
Um,
And then chat that's here. If you guys want to start popping in questions that you have for Mr. V, feel free and we can get your questions answered as well. um, yeah, mine's Lady and the Tramp and people make fun of me for it, but that used to be one of my favorite movies as a kid. So for sentimental reasons, they're my favorite. And I'm I'm happy to have them in my collection, and I wish I could just stack them, but I don't have the money to stack like that, so
hear you. I hear you. Um, I think uh, I have to probably say the Ghost Trap with Slimer, because
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people knew or know today that those two
They go together.
each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were the two first things that I bought on the app, um,
Mhm.
and that was like that sealed the deal for me. Like I was just like I already knew that there was Marvel and DC and all those other ones, but like
Mhm.
I grew up watching Ghostbusters like religiously, and it's I felt really nostalgic when I saw it on the app and
Exactly.
exploring it, like interacting with
Mhm.
it. That was it made me feel happy, you know.
Right.
And it's kind of like the whole purpose. Not to go too deep into this whole concept of art and all these things, but the whole
Yeah.
purpose of art is to evoke emotion. Like when you look at a particular style of art, whether it's dancing, or performance, music performance, or
Mhm.
a still picture or what have you. It's the whole purpose is to evoke emotion. Some
Yeah.
people may love it, some people may hate it, some people may feel nostalgic, or just there's so many
Just
different.
start crying because it's sad. Who
Yeah,
knows? It touches them in a different way.
yeah, and like this hit me in the right kind of way. So the Ghost Trap and Slimer,
Yeah.
it's like silly. Those are two silly collectibles, but they did me in. So
No. Yeah,
those
that's awesome. Do you still have the original ones that you bought, or like have you flipped them for better mints now, or?
I did flip them for better mints. That I do have those two. I have four out of that five Ghostbuster set from season one,
Mhm.
I think, as sub 100s. Those are the only collectibles that I have that are sub 100s, I think, because I couldn't
Okay.
find one, two, three, four mints or like mints that I really did like.
Yeah.
So those were my
So
defaults, I guess, default mints.
yeah. So maybe when they give us that metadata, then you could find those mints and you can finally hold the ones of your favorites. My fingers are crossed for you. If anybody's watching and knows who has the Ghostbuster 123, 1234, let Mr. V know. He needs the insight. He needs the info.
Yeah,
uh,
there was that silver one too, Moogly. Um,
oh yeah.
that's out of my price range, so I might have to trade up when trading becomes available, or like transfers of collectibles becomes available again. I might have to turn to that. I'm not comfortable. I'm not happy about selling, but I would be more inclined to trade. I will
To
say that.
come, yeah, to trading. Yeah,
Yes.
that totally makes sense. I'm hoping that they come soon. Austin and I both have accounts, and like initially before when we had the transfers, um, like my account was kind of just like an extra account to kind of go for drops and like flip and have gems, and then his account was going to be the account where we held all the stuff that we want to keep, and like it's more like our vault. Um, but now obviously I can't transfer things for free. So if I hit like a good mint that he wants to keep, now it's just like on my account, which is fine. Like it's not a huge deal, but I don't know. You've been talking to him the last couple of days, and you know how he is like about his OCD and like needing his mints to show off or whatever. So, yeah, I can't wait for them to be open, and then we can like go back to doing giveaways, or it's even more easy to get more people involved if you're like, here, I'll send you this comic, and you could just see how it goes, and if you like it, then get more involved in the app. Um, Have you gotten anybody into Veve, like a family member or friend?
I've tried. Like I've even
Mhm.
gone so far as to like say, "Hey, let me show you this app." I downloaded it onto their phones, and I'd help them set up an account. But this was pre KYC, and
Yeah,
and they were like, we they were all hesitant. They like all didn't want to put money into it because they didn't understand it, and
yeah,
um, I was like on an island by myself basically with this app. So I don't have any um, long-term friends or family that have the app or interact with it. So it's been nice to be able to share this interest with other people on like Twitter, Telegram. Um,
yeah,
so it's probably a good thing because that way I can kind of focus on things that I need to in my personal life uh,
yeah.
with the day to day stuff. So maybe good, maybe bad, who knows? But nobody in my inner circle has Vivi
Yeah.
yet. Yes,
Yeah.
all of them. Will.
Is your wife interested in it at all? Like, does she help you go for drops or anything? Or she just like, please don't talk about that?
She's burned out. She hates me talking about it. She'll like she looks at me and she wants me to talk about anything and everything else.
It's
She's
like,
helped
please.
me on a couple of drops, but she's usually at work and she's upset that it's interrupting the flow of her day to day things. So
Hmm.
I've kind of learned to leave her alone and just give her a Cliff Notes version of whatever I am up to.
Yeah,
I have to be very selective with what I say for the 5 minutes that she does listen to me talk about this stuff, if that.
that's
But
so funny. Because all the guys, not all of them actually, some of them like their wives are like as supportive as they can be until they're just like, okay, you're literally talking about this too much, like too much. But I feel bad because, I mean, I'm interested in it because of the IP, like you said, and then the more I get to know and understand like all the matrix and everything of what we're doing, it makes me even more intrigued and just want to keep learning more and more about it. Um, so maybe you just, I don't know, they're not, your wife's not a big Disney fan, or like, is there a specific IP that like would come and maybe turn it around for her?
she loves Disney.
Okay.
She you know there's she likes it, but she'd rather watch the movies or listen to the music more so than interact with a digital statue
For sure.
or poster. That's one thing um that's one thing that I know that she's not really
Yeah,
interested
she don't really care.
in. So I'm okay with that. That means that it's like some guys have their man cave and like they watch sports and or
Hmm.
video games and stuff. I'm not a big sports guy. Like
Okay.
I don't watch much TV. The only time I'll watch is like if my wife wants to watch it, and then while she's watching, I'll be on my phone anyways. So
Yeah. So
um,
you get stuck watching all the like soap operas and like Big Brother and stuff.
yeah, like whatever she likes, I'll let her. I'll I respect that and all, but the only time I do pay attention are like the Marvel movies or the
Hmm.
Marvel like the series, the TV series. Um,
Hmm.
those things I do enjoy watching. So
Yeah.
yeah, my time like I think it's different from most people I've grown up with and know, but I think grad school really messed up me being able to enjoy myself doing leisurely activities like watching TV and stuff like that, or enjoying a sports game. And now I see this as like an investment
Yeah.
um, in the respect of collecting these for my kids way down the line, and for me to share with them and with the people that I do care about. So I do see a greater return on doing this, like with Vivi,
Hmm.
more so than watching a sports game. Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at in my life.
Definitely. I mean, I enjoy sports to a certain extent, but yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I much rather just like be on VV. Are you doing the Rumble challenge? Have you been trying to like put together a battle scene to like submit, or have you submit one already?
I,
You
I've
only
got
need one hand to
I've
put
got
your
one
vault
hand,
together.
and like I was trying to, but I was ready to punch the
I bet.
screen with my messed
Oh
up hand.
no.
I was just I have limited mobility, so
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even asked. I'm so rude.
it's all good. Sorry, my kid's slamming on the door. Uh, can you hear him?
Yeah. He wants juice or something. Is that what he said? He
He's,
wants something?
he's saying, "Dada."
Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Let me see if I can get him taken care of.
Yeah.
Sorry to be doing this live on your stream.
No, you're totally okay. You're a dad. That comes before all of this, 100%. That does not matter. Hey, Superstar Money. Hi, Orange Bag Lady. Hey, Real Talk. Kobe Collects. Nice to see you. Austin, we already said hello. VV Vault, what's up? Thanks for being here. Pokemon 2019. Hello.
All right. I hope he's being taken care of right now, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, I don't want to keep up.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, yeah, no worries. You're a dad. That always comes first. Don't even. I'm nothing. This is nothing. uh, um. Well, the stream has been going on for about an hour. I just wanted to at least ask you one more question before you have to get back to your family time. Um, and what was that question? I hate when I'm about to say something and it just go blank. That's like the worst thing.
Oh, that's my life. That's my life. I have horrible memory. That's
I
why
know.
I
Like,
live.
why am I like this? Why am I this way? Oh, that's what. So, utility. Are you excited? For I know it's all speculation and like it's no guarantee, but what utilities are you looking forward to most if you know it's there?
Oof. I've heard of a lot of different things from many different people.
Mhm.
The one thing that I do really want is utility in parks.
Yes, me too.
I love roller coasters and parks and rides and just immersing yourself completely. The food, the the atmosphere. Um,
Yeah,
that's if I'm gonna ask for one thing, that's what I want the most. Like,
right.
how can I use these in a park? If there's any perks, cool. If not, I'm not sweating it because I'm already enjoying my collection enough as
Yeah.
it is. But I love roller coasters. I love parks. And I'm surprised that there hasn't been like some massive VV meetup at Disneyland in California or in Florida or Paris or wherever the
I
park.
know.
That's way long overdue. I know
Right.
the app is still really relatively new in
Hmm.
in the grand scheme of like how long businesses operate. Because I know like businesses for a business to be considered um, a success or to be able to know that a business will thrive, it's got to last what like 4 or 5 years before you know you've gone over the hurdle, gone
Yeah.
over the hurdle or something like that. Um, whoever can set something up first, count me in.
Right.
As long as my hands are okay, it's like I'm worried like I'm
Mhm.
gonna hit somebody or my hand's gonna break. Like
Right.
a roller coaster.
Well, that's why I'm kind of sad because I thought that Austin and I were gonna be able to go to the decon in Anaheim.
Mhm.
And a lot of the people that are going, all the VV fam is talking about also going across the street to Disney, not World, but Disneyland. and having some fun over there. So I'm so sad that Austin's stupid car broke down, stupid piece of crap. So so now we're not going to be able to go. But if you, oh, I guess your hand probably won't even be close to healed either, and you don't want to be riding roller coasters for that.
Yeah.
In the future, maybe next year you and I will both be able to go, and you could bring your kids, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Do you think your wife would be interested in doing something like that since it's like in person and like real life? It's not just on a screen.
Yeah, she loves parks too. That's one. Fortunately, that's one of the things that we do agree with. I mean, we agree with like a lot of things, right? But
Yeah.
that's one form of entertainment that we both on like won't hesitate to pursue and enjoy. So
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Was there anything else that you wanted to like go over or say before I let you go?
Um. Uh. I didn't have anything off the top of my head. But you know, if you or anyone else had any questions, you know, I'd be happy to answer those.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions for Mr. V? Um, you're so humble, and it's so nice to talk to somebody in the community that has a real good understanding. And you guys definitely have to go check out his interview with Will Goes Meta. I should have put the link in the description. Maybe I will after this is over. But they really go into the details of, I don't know. I don't want to say like the wrong thing, like the analytical stuff, I guess, of like why you view Veve the way you do. Um, and yeah, so it was just a great interview, and I appreciate you making the time for my channel as well. I know a lot of people are like, I just did an interview. Can you like leave me alone? So, so I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope it wasn't too repetitive from your initial interview with Will.
Yeah, not at all. This was all, you know, really fresh content, questions, and an enjoyable experience for sure. I you know, the one thing I would say is that my collection is the product of being able to collaborate and talk to a whole bunch of people and asking people good questions and bad questions. So that's one thing I would like to say, because you know, uh, it's boring when you do things by yourself.
Yeah,
You can't share it with
definitely.
anyone, you know, and you know, there's a lot of people to be grateful for in the community. Vivi's awesome. I do know that like some people are bitter at times, happy at times, but overall, it's been a really cool community to be a part of, and too many people for me to call out individually, you know. But I am grateful for all the people who did help me out because not all of my ideas are my own. So
For sure.
I would never take credit for the ideas or support or guidance that I've received since September. So
For
just a
sure.
thank you to all those people too, you know, and
Yeah.
shout out to the VV Army.
Mhm.
Those guys are awesome. They've been very supportive and very fun to be in that group too.
Yeah. That's where I met you. So thanks to Brown Mamba, shout out Brown Mamba, woo, woo, for bringing us together. um, yeah, I definitely agree with you. The community, um, I never would have thought that I have more internet friends than real life friends. Whether you think I'm a loser for saying that now, whatever. Yeah, I never expected it from myself either. And it's just there's so many people in the community that are just so cool. And like you said, it's just nice to all have this interest in common and just to speculate and just get everybody's ideas. It really helps everybody grow in the community. That's one reason why I started my channel, just to kind of bring us together and share each other's minds and pick each other's brains. So yeah, thank you for your time and letting me pick at yours. And um, yeah, feel free to follow him on Twitter. I have his Twitter down below. And thank you so much for your time. I look forward to chatting with you and helping each other find each other's mitts for each other, and
Def-
working as a team. Because most of the time I can't afford the 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's totally all yours.
I feel like I've been priced out at this point, so now I've got to start looking for other numbers.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 next now.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. Well, you enjoy your Saturday. And yeah, thank you so much for giving me your time today.
No, the pleasure is all mine. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. Moving forward in all respects.
Thank you. Same to you. Congrats on your baby girl, and hope you have the best healing for your hand.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Don't forget about the electrotherapy. I'm telling you, it might help.
I'm on it.
I'm on it. Okay. Well, thank you again to everybody that stayed and wanted to listen to us and our stories on Veve and our thoughts. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Peace.